Hi everyone, Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com, back with another video in my series called Flashcards. Today's card is just a very elegant and very easy Christmas card. I'm very excited to share this one with you, so let's get started. As always, I'm going to use my flashcard pieces. My flashcard itself is always artichoke and very vanilla. If you've not watched the very first video explaining the flashcard template and how it works, zip over to YouTube. You can find that by searching Connie Stewart flashcards. Should be the first video to pop up. You'll want to watch that so you see how these work. My card base is a Bravo Burgundy. It's cut 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4.25, so it's just your standard card size. All right, let's go ahead and get started. With my card base itself, I did run it through a Big Shot embossing folder, so I gave it some nice texture. That's the Lacy Brocade embossing folder, very pretty. I came in with my base from my flashcard, the Always Artichoke, and I did the same thing with that. Now, we want to cut a scallop out of this with the 2 3/8 inch scallop punch. I'm going to push that into my punch and make sure it's lined up from side to side, and this is very, very important. You cannot push it in as far as it'll go. This card will not work with that. So when you push it in from side to side, that's just making sure that I'm going to be centered. But when you push it in, I want to give myself about 1/4 inch at the bottom. So I feel pretty confident about that. There we go. Well, come on, cardstock. Okay, there we go. So that piece is done there. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the front of my card. I'll just use some snail to adhere that. Now, one other very, very important piece of information. When you adhere this onto your card, you want to leave yourself between 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch actually might even be too far. You want to give yourself just a nice little narrow border down there in the corner. All right, we've got that, and I'm going to be punching an ornament out of the center. And what I did is I took some junk mail and pre-punched it first. I got a little sticky on the back, and just a little sticky that I kind of de-stickified. I'm going to set that in the center so that I'm certain I get that centered where I want it. And then come in with my ornament punch. And see, that's going to allow me to get that just right. And punch. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to save that piece, so we'll set that aside. Got a little bit of the edge of my little template, but that's all right. There we go. So there's the base of my card. Now let's come in and start doing some work with that very vanilla. I'm going to be using Tags Till Christmas, and this is the little ornament from that stamp. I'm going to punch it, or I'm going to stamp it there here in the corner in Always Artichoke, and come in with my ornament punch. Line that up and punch that out. Now I've got this little bit of greeting here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cardstock and I'm just going to tear it at about the 1.5 inch mark. Not rocket science here, promise you that, because you are going to have to tweak it. See, that's coming down a little too far, so I'm going to have to tear a little bit more. No problem. Let's see how we're looking now. That looks just about right. So let me come in now with the More Merry Messages and the Season's Greetings. And I'm going to stamp that. And we're going to go ahead and adhere that here onto my card front. All right. Oops, didn't stick. Sorry, I was trying to be conservative because I think that ink is still wet and I really don't want to smear it. Let's try that. Oh, much better. I just always worry I'm going to smear. There we go. So now that part's ready. Remember that great scallop that I punched out? Well, I saved that. And I've got my ornament. Let's go ahead and adhere the ornament onto that punch. Okay, here's a little trick for lining this up. If you'll bring this back into your card, and that little ornament will almost kind of lock itself into place, just like that. That gives you the opportunity to come back here, put some snail on the back of that scallop, And look at that, we're perfectly centered. Yay! All right, so we're getting there, but I thought I have this left over and it wouldn't really go anywhere. So why not come in with a 1-inch circle punch? I've got all that great texture on there, why waste it? I'm gonna come in and give that a punch, little snail, and we're gonna put that on the center of my ornament. And then I thought it still needed something. It was really kind of blah. So here's my leftover cardstock. Now, I'm going to stamp. This is also from Tags Till Christmas. This is just a nice little holly and berry. You may or may not have room left on this piece of paper. If you don't worry. Do you remember when you did your flashcards, these little scraps that were left over? Guess what? Fits perfect on there too. So not to worry, if you've got it here, great. If not, I know in your flashcard pieces, you are always ready to go. Because remember, we never use additional cardstock on our flashcards. So there's my little holly and berries. I'm going to add a Stampin' Dimensional on that. And just put that there in the center. Beautiful. Last but not least, just some Always Artichoke seam binding. Just going to tie it, well, maybe I will. See if I can pull it the right way. Tie this into a knot here on the side. And that's all there is to it. Another very simple flashcard. Again, this one does have a couple steps that you have to pay attention to. Making sure that you're not punching too high and making sure that you're keeping that down low. But that's all there is to it. A very elegant and very flash Christmas card. I hope you enjoyed today's flashcard. Thanks so much for tuning into this series. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.